Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to Today in Bitcoin. Today is April the 20th, 2017. This is home of cryptocurrency straight talk, no fancy setter graphics, just information. This is going to be a special show where we're going to talk about storage of altcoins and Bitcoin. This was requested by my viewers, and I think it was a great idea. I've been meaning to do it for a little while, so we're going to have two shows today. I guess all the European people are really happy because you get to see this during a great time of day over there at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock, whatever it is. Anyway, so there will be a second show much later, closer to midnight here on the East Coast in Baltimore. But let's get started. Where do I keep my Bitcoin and my altcoins? And let's talk about other storage options too, and compare and contrast and the pros and cons of where you can keep your Bitcoin and your altcoins. So, Bitcoin. You can buy it at Coinbase, first of all. Let's say you bought some Bitcoin at Coinbase in the United States. And this is going to be a United States, well, this is a United States bias statement. That's the easiest place to get it. So you get one Bitcoin, okay? You're a newbie. And a lot of people watching this, some of you aren't newbies. I'm sorry if you think this is all simplistic stuff, but we'll get into some more complex stuff later. I mean, this is for everyone. Not everyone is technically skilled here. So some people might say, well, that's easy for me. But hey, it's okay if it's hard for you. Now, some people have a hard time buying on Coinbase, and they're just like, okay, now I own a Bitcoin. Well, okay, keeping your Bitcoin at Coinbase is not the safest thing in the world because you don't control your private key. They do. They could be hacked. A lot of things can happen over there because they really have your Bitcoin. You don't have your Bitcoin. But, by the way, here's a nice shirt. You can get lindasdirect.com down below. You can use the Meister discount to get a shirt like this if you use a Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Litecoin. Hey, sorry for that little advertisement. Anyway, where was I saying? So if you buy your Bitcoin at Coinbase, yeah, so you can store it there. You can store it in their vault. Their vault is safer, but it takes you a while to get your Bitcoin out of the vault. It takes 48 hours. That's just something to keep in mind. I don't recommend keeping your Bitcoin at Coinbase if you own more than 2 Bitcoin. Really, again, and then I say send it to your Trezor. We will get there in a second. Because if you own more than 2 Bitcoin, it's over $2,000, over $2,400 right now as of today in 2017 worth of Bitcoin. That's a lot of money. Would you be happy if you lost $2,000, $2,400? But the likelihood of that happening at Coinbase, it's not high. It's low, obviously. It's better to keep your Bitcoin at Coinbase than it is to keep it at an exchange where you're trading, because those things get Bitfinex recently has had issues. I mean, there's been exchanges that have totally went away, like Mt. Gox. But again, we're dealing with all sorts of different levels of people here. I personally, as an emergency stash, I have 1 Bitcoin at Coinbase. I admit it. I do have 1 there. But I have a lot of Bitcoin, as everyone knows, and the great majority of it is at my Trezor storage device, which we will get to soon. So, okay, that covers Coinbase. So if you have 1 or less than 1 Bitcoin and you're a total newbie, but you're willing to learn, okay, keep some at Coinbase. That's cool. Even if you have close to 2, keep some there, but be prepared. Now, there's another site, and I linked to below. I linked to Coinbase. I linked to my affiliate link where you can buy Bitcoin, and you get a $10 discount if you use the link, or $10 credited to you, something like that. Blockchain.info. That is another site where you can store your Bitcoin. Now, that's a bit safer than Coinbase. I have an emergency stash there too, very, very small amount over there also. It's a little bit more complicated. Now, what I recommend to people is that once you have a Coinbase account set up, also set up a blockchain.info account. That is really easy to set up. And send some of your Coinbase Bitcoin to blockchain.info. This serves two purposes. You can learn how to successfully send Bitcoin because it's not that easy for some people. And at the same time, you have a second place now where you're storing your Bitcoin. Okay, so if God forbid something happened on one of the accounts, well, you'd have another one, another place where you're storing it. All your eggs would not be in one basket. So you can play around with blockchain.info. Go over there now. Again, it's easier to play around with a site like blockchain.info because it's totally free. You don't need to show it's anonymous. It's like, playing around at Coinbase can be a little bit more difficult. Hey, pound that like button, everyone. Pound that like button if you like this video. We've got like 50 live viewers at this weird time. Coolness. All right, so now the thing is, Coinbase is not anonymous. The people over there, they don't like you sending your Bitcoin to weird places that they consider weird, like to an exchange, or even back and forth, I heard, to shapeshifts.info if you're trying to buy altcoins. So Coinbase is monitoring you. Blockchain.info is not monitoring you at all, okay? But again, if you're a newbie and you're not into trading or anything like that, then you don't have to worry about that at Coinbase, okay? But again, set up a blockchain.info site, web wallet also. These are web wallets. So then we have paper wallets. Now, these are complex. Now, the cool thing is they're also free. Now, it's hard to get your Bitcoin off of these things if you're a newbie, if you're new, all right? It's not self-explanatory. Now, if you go to the site bitcoinpaperwallet.com, and again, all of this is linked to below, bitcoinpaperwallet.com, you can generate a paper wallet. And that is pretty safe, a paper wallet. There's some issues if someone was spying on your computer at the time, but also a Bitcoin paper wallet, you can make a Dogecoin wallet and a Litecoin wallet. Go over there, play around with the paper wallet site. See if you feel comfortable with this type of thing. I believe they give you your private key also. Now, that's something you don't share with anyone. Now, I'm not sure if they do. Yeah, they do give you your private key. Of course they do. That's what the whole paper wallet is. God, I'm a little tired. Sorry. Or I'm not tired. I'm just not thinking, I guess. I ran earlier. Anyway, so a paper wallet. Play around with bitcoinpaperwallet.com. See if you feel comfortable. Again, then from your blockchain.info account, send a little bit over there. And again, when I'm talking about little bits of Bitcoin, you start out with 1 Bitcoin, let's say. Then you can send little microscopic 0.01, 0.01 Bitcoin. That's, what is that? Well, I guess now that's $12, but I mean, you can go 0.001 and send $1.20. That's even better. Play around like that. It's worth it to play around. I mean, the worst is you lose it somehow, and I doubt that's going to happen. All right, now sticking with Bitcoin, we have the Bitcoin Trezor. That is what I use. That is what Adam Meister uses. I have an affiliate link where you can buy that. That helps me out a little bit, obviously. But I'm not trying to sell Trezors here. People have said that. Oh, Adam, that's what you can. No, I use that. That is what Adam Meister uses. Period. That's where the bulk of his Bitcoin is. So I trust that, okay? I clearly trust that a lot, the Bitcoin Trezor. Again, you can go to that link. And so a Trezor, and I don't have it with me right now. It's a little device. You plug it into the side of your computer. I mean, it's quite small. And it's a hardware storage device. So think of it this way. Your Bitcoin is there. It's there. And there's a way to back it up. They give you a phrase. It costs money, obviously. It costs like $99. You have to use Bitcoin to buy it also, unless you get it from Amazon. And it costs more at Amazon, I believe. So this is not something you play around with. This is something you think about. And again, I recommend it to people who are getting close to 2 Bitcoin. If you have more than 2 Bitcoin, you really need a Trezor. Again, you should not be storing any Bitcoin or any altcoins or any dollars on these exchanges. Now, not everyone's a trader, so not everyone even knows what I'm talking about with exchanges. But don't do that. Trezor is the safest. Now, we're going to talk about some other hardware wallets in a second. I also wanted to say a Bitcoin Trezor you can easily store Dash there and Zcash, but there's some catch with Zcash. I don't know much about Zcash, but I do keep all of my Dash, which is very, very little amount of Dash, at my Trezor also. And it is very easy to do. And again, I do consultation. I help people set up their Trezors. Again, that is what I use. So let's move on to Litecoin here. That Litecoin has been in the news lately. I keep my Litecoin, and again, I have never, people send me tips in various altcoins, so I need to figure out where to store these altcoins sometimes. So I keep my Litecoin at a site called litevault.net. And that is just like it's like the blockchain.info of Litecoin, basically. You can play around with it, see if you feel comfortable with Litecoin. Now again, you're gonna be able to buy your Litecoin soon enough at Coinbase, and you're probably gonna be able to store it there too. So if you're watching this in the future, hey, but go to litevault.net. It is free. You can play around there. Okay, Ethereum. Ethereum you can buy at Coinbase. So let's have the same rule with Ethereum. If you have like $2,000 worth of Ethereum, you shouldn't be keeping it at Coinbase. You gotta diversify a little bit. Now, this is not as easy. I keep my Ethereum, well, I go through the site myethereumwallet.com. So again, that is also a free site. You can play around there. You can create a place to save it on your computer, okay? A .json file, .json. So you go to the site myethereumwallet.com. I link to it below. It'll say create a wallet or create something, and it'll create this file that'll be stored on your computer. It also gives you the option of showing what your private key is that you can print out. So then you have like a paper wallet that it can be created there also through that. But so you store you create this .json file. You can save it on your laptop. You can save it on a storage device thingy that you plug in. What's it called? What are these darn things called? Well, anyway, you save it on something. You know, the thing you plug into your computer. Drawing a blank. And so then you password protect it. The site explains how to do that. And so then the only way you can open that file is with a password. It's encrypted. And that's pretty safe right there. I mean, there's some issues, but it's safer than Coinbase. And that is where I store my Ethereum. Through that site, created a .json file, and that is saved, not on my laptop, but saved somewhere else on a storage device. Ethereum Classic, same type of thing. I go to classic, classicetherwallet.com. Dude, I link to it below. Use that link, all right? And it's the same type of deal that I just explained with Ethereum. That site's not as good because it like shows you it shows you what your private key is. So if someone was looking over your shoulder, that's a little weird. But play around, it's free. All right, Monero. Monero has been popular lately, and they have a site called mymonero.com. I link to it below. Be careful because they're phishing sites where it's spelled a little bit different and people get in big trouble. Make sure you're at the real mymonero.com. This site is kind of funky, okay? Monero itself is a funky coin. You gotta learn how to send it. Sending it is not as easy as people might think all the time. It requires a second type address thing to type in. It's like a confirmation code thingamajig. I'm not thinking of the proper word. Anyway, mymonero.com, when you send from there and when you send there, at first it screws up what your balance is. It's scary. You will be scared. But I have not had issues. That is where I keep my Monero, at mymonero.com. They give you like a long string of words. That's your password to get in. You might not feel comfortable. Again, you can play around there. You can create your own wallet there before you have any Monero. Experiment, see if you're into this type of thing. Before you buy Monero, you really should look into, where am I going to store this thing? I shouldn't store this on the exchange where I buy it from. Do I feel comfortable with my Monero.com? And if you don't, then you got, now they have another, a GUI wallet also. I have never played with that. I don't know about that. Sorry. I know some of you are going to bring that up. And, there is a chat going on right now. I'm like fearful of even checking it to see if people are giving suggestions. Let's see. No, they're just yenting over there. All right. So let's go back. Let's go to the, again, and I mentioned beforehand with Coinbase and Bitcoin. Yeah, I mentioned that, how they do monitor you. And if you do start sending your Bitcoin to the wrong places, they can shut down your wallet, but they'll let you move it off. But that can be scary. So think about that if you're storing Bitcoin or Ethereum at Coinbase. If you're sending things back and forth and selling and doing all these weird things that they might not approve of, that's why you get a blockchain.info. That's why you get your Trezor. Anyway, so again, Dash. That's at my Trezor. And then the other competitors for hardware wallets, there's something called a Keep Key. Now, the interesting thing about the Keep Key is that you can store some other altcoins there too. Go to their website, link to below, see what other altcoins you can keep there. Because some people don't like the Trezor because you can't store Ethereum there. Although easily, I think you can actually. It's a little bit more complex if you want to store Ethereum at your Trezor. I'm not going to get into that type of thing. Let's just say you can't. With your Trezor, you can easily do Dash, sort of Zcash, and Bitcoin. But with your Keep Key, it's easier for a few other altcoins. So check out Keep Key. See what altcoins you can store there. I think you can store Ethereum there and Ethereum Classic, I think. I hope I'm not skipping any altcoins. But it was, again, I only care about the 5 major altcoins. What are the 5? Is it Litecoin? Yeah, Litecoin, Monero, Ethereum Classic, Ethereum, and Dash. Those are the 5 major altcoins. I'm not going to get into the other ones right now because that's all I have. So Ledger Nano is another storage device you can store your Bitcoin at. Some people like that. It's cheaper. I don't want to spread FUD. I thought there might be a limit on the amount of Bitcoin you can keep at your Ledger Nano. I am not sure about that. Look into it before you buy it. And you can store altcoins there also. So also, one final note with altcoins, if you have all these other crazy altcoins, you can create a paper wallet for all sorts of altcoins at walletgenerator.net. And that is linked to below. So, hey, I think I've covered everything. Leave questions below. I will try to answer them. There's your helpful hints of the day. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, pound that like button right now. I'm going to have another video later in the day that is going to be just my usual type of video, hopefully much later in the day at nighttime here on the East Coast. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye, everyone.